All right, it is 7:00 p.m. on Thursday, May 5th. I'd like to call the Town Council Strategic Planning Committee to order. Councilors Eric Moore and Dennis Gallagher are present, so we have a quorum. The meeting will be conducted remotely via Zoom. We encourage any interested residents to participate via the link or phone number posted in the agenda. So the first item on our agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from March 29th. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the minutes from March 29th.
Great, I'll second that. We'll do a roll call vote. Dennis?
Yes.
I am a yes, so the motion passes 2 in favor, none against. All right, the next item we have is public comment. I don't see anyone from the public. Seeing none, let's move on. All right, and then we have just the one topic tonight. It's the continued discussion on the creation of the Town Council Strategic Initiative Tracker. I do have a couple updates, Dennis, that I can share with you. And then I can actually pull up a new version of a tracker that we could get a reaction on. So the first I think are more just updates. So we had also talked in our last meeting about getting an overall calendar schedule for the year to know when this information is helpful in the planning process. So I did reach out to the town manager a couple weeks ago and asked him to give us his perspective on when during the year would it be best for him to hear about the town council goals and some of the other items that we identified. So he brought that back to his team. He said that they're working on a calendar and we should get a copy of it in the next week or so. So then we could take his dates and then we could back into them with our dates.
Okay.
And then the second item, I reached out to Jennifer after our last meeting as well about the master plan. It is still in draft form, but she did schedule, and I think they've even had at least one and maybe 2 meetings, but a meeting with the planning committee to get approval, final approval on that. And I watched some of those, or at least one of those meetings back on YouTube, and it seemed like they were pretty close to approving it. Yeah, very like final feedback kind of thing. So I'm hopeful that we'll see the final version of that soon in front of the full council. And then the last thing, you got both of you had shared some feedback in the last meeting of, the thing that's probably most helpful is a tracker on like all the ordinances and where do they stand, and then a separate maybe tracker on just like the big initiatives in town and where do they stand. And so I thought I could share a version that I created, if that's okay. Let me try to share this on Zoom. Let's see. This is it. Can you see that, Dennis? The font is a little small. So basically there are 2 tabs in the spreadsheet. One is initiatives and the second is ordinances. And I did learn, I think Debbie actually has something that she's keeping that's similar to this. So I think we could probably work with her to get an updated version. But what this does is it takes all of the ordinances that we've introduced, talks about who introduced it, what committee or what person is it currently with, and then how old is it? And the ages in weeks. So if you look at some of the charter changes you submitted last year, like that's like 44 weeks old. And then some of them are newer and like 4 weeks old. So I think this view would give us what's open, but also give us a sense of like what's aging and how do we try to get priority. Some of these actually I own, so this helps me know that I need to prioritize this, but would help us know how old things are. And then all of us, if we got a copy of this, I know some other towns that I looked at distribute this as part of the town council minutes or agenda, but some way that if all of us saw this, every meeting or maybe every month, we'd all have a common understanding of where things stand and what the last update was. So we don't have to try to track it through all the committees.
No, I think that this is good. I think this is excellent. Where is the one on the elections? So where is that one under?
Yeah, so that is a combination of these, let me see. These four right here are the ones that, well, actually, yeah, they're the precinct map we approved. These four right here are the ones that need to go through the state and get finalized prior to the election, is my understanding. So what I could do here, though, is we could even say re-precincting, election.
Like to change from like 2 at large to 6 at large to, I mean, that's built into these four.
Yeah, it's these four together went as the package. This
they're
was
not-
how we do it, yeah.
So they're not going up separately.
I believe they've already gone up.
That's okay. I'm turning my
Yeah.
settings. You
But actually, it's good. It's a good thing to. I think we need to ask about this because the last
wanna-
time I
Yeah,
could
I'd like to.
find-
I'd like to put. I'd like to put that on the agenda to get a status on, on it, because people have asked.
Yeah, maybe what I can do is I did see. We'll add it in real time here. Next action. I saw some of the towns that had trackers had this like next action, and this is
Okay.
what essentially like what we would like to see here. So like for this one, need add to TC agenda for update from
For update.
and then yeah, these three. And then I can put a date on there in between now and the next one. But so then we could use this then as the tracker, and then in our meeting have a conversation like the one that you just said, like, okay, these four, we need to know what's going on with them. Let's make sure they're on the agenda for the next meeting. And then if there's anything else that people see, once we give visibility to this, people can see it and ask questions.
Mhm.
And we can just track the next action. So those are the actual ordinances. The other one, these are, I'm calling them initiatives, but these are sort of the bigger bucket things. And I'm in the middle of just fact gathering on these, but the water treatment plant is probably the one that has the best information, or the best example of how we could use this, where this is a big initiative, it's still open. There's a description of it, including like how much we spent and how long we expected it to take when we spent that, who owns it, when did it start, how old is it, and then when was the last update, and what is the last update. And we could.
Have you thought of adding like an expected completion, like a target completion date on it, or?
I think that's a great idea.
We know things can change and things get behind, but it'd be.
If we said like this one would be spring 2023 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. And if we have a date, I can put in a date. Scotland Links is done.
So the fire station, the next step really is to do the site and do the RFP for the contractor, I guess. Is that committee? I don't know if that, I think the committee will stay intact during the building, I would think.
I think so. Do this next step. And we could ask for an update on that. So which one was that? Schedule steps. Verify to these in a little bit. But yeah, that's a good example of one. That's 82 weeks old now. The other ones I have are the town hall roof. We approved the transfer order. I think there's a grant we're waiting on, but not sure what's happening there. The larger town hall plan, you had called that out last time, the roadways plan, what are we doing there? Document archival, this is all the documents in town hall, wastewater treatment, Mitchell School, the charter review, website, downtown maintenance. We had a bunch of things that we had called out. We just wanted to know what the plan was for that. The park and trail system, what is the plan and how are we planning to market that? McElwain project, Dwell 85, Perkins Foundry, and Old Mobile Station.
Yeah.
Those are the big issues I pulled out of our notes. Is there anything else that you think we should have on this list?
Well, I think the big one, well, not to add, I think you have it in there, is the master plan. The master plan report, because that's supposed to address the downtown area. I mean, there's been discussion of moving the common or making one side 2 lanes, or Bill and I were talking about that Tuesday night. We had a budget and finance meeting. And sometimes the town common looks kind of shabby, Maybe everything looks a little better now that the foliage is coming out, but there are businesses there. There aren't any really vacancies in the common.
Yeah.
But now that the fire station, we know that fire station is going to move out of there. We know that's going to happen. What are we going to do with that fire station? Is it going to be a tear down? And what are the plans? Because I think I've said it before. I think that's the catalyst that's going to. If we decide what's going to happen with the old fire station, and the old town hall, get the roof done, and then work on the inside. Then we can get a better feel as to, okay, now, is that going to draw people into the town? And I'd love to see, hopefully somebody does something with Broad Street development. I mean, that's just awful.
Yeah.
That's, we can't do anything about it other than private person owns it. The private person has an approved plan, but he wanted more units. Now he's trying to sell it. So if you can sell the project as it is, who's got the kind of money? So that's just, you can't blame the town on that one. I mean, it's a privately owned land,
Right.
Spain's taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another good one. So maybe we can just keep tabs on that, or see if we can get an update on what the interest level looks like there. And I can continue to go back through and try to find like the first dates that these were introduced, just so we get a sense of how old they are, and then the last update from the town manager or someone else. But I think this would be good, and if this is something that we just included in the agenda, we share it out with the counselors so everyone is seeing the same information or has the opportunity to correct it if something's wrong on there. And then we in our committee can continue to discuss how do we keep pushing next steps on these things.
Right. And eventually we should have a discussion, what are the priorities? Obviously they'll all be on the list, but the fire station, that's going to happen. That's going to be an ongoing thing. But to get like the park system going, that's going to take some money. So clean up I mean, you were down there Saturday, the Town River Landing. I mean, that's such a great opportunity for like a destination for people to, it just doesn't look attractive right now, you know, and
Right.
I mean, someone's was mowed a path to the launch, but with that and Styles and Hart, if they could just talk, you know, those two parks could connect to each other, that'd be a really big area where people can take walks. And you can't take a canoe right now down there, because if you go into, someone told me, if you go into take a canoe, there's a couple of trees that fell over on the river. You can't get by.
Well, it's like-
And you can't go under them. So, you know, let's see, the roads too. I mean, I know we can't do all the roads at once, but I know we're probably going to approve the town budget on Tuesday night.
Yep.
But, you know, I'd like to know with the Chapter 90 monies, what are the priorities this season for road repair? You know, obviously you can't do everything, but there's some bad roads in this town. There are.
Yeah, and that's something where I'd love to see a plan, right? Just what is the order? How are we trying to get the money? How do we look at this year over year?
He had about 2 or 3 years, might even before you were on, he hired a consultant and did a total road analysis. And I think it might be on the website. And it showed like what roads are in the worst conditions. And it was really a nice analysis, but we didn't stick to it. It's like, we didn't take the worst one. It didn't, just because the worst one was South Street doesn't mean that's going to get done first.
Right.
It's all about the money. What can we afford to do?
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's been doing. But Oak Street, South Street, I mean, and you saw the post on Facebook about Winter Street.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some bad roads, but you can't do them all at once. But there needs to be a plan to say, okay, what will we do this year, and what will we do next year? I know there's been some discussion that he might want to put that before the voters. That's a tough one. I don't think that. I mean, we have a capital fund that has a lot of money in it, and I think that's what it should be used for. Plus the Chapter 90 monies. I think it's going to be a hard sell to go to the taxpayers for an override or a debt exclusion for road repairs when we should be planning for that within our own capital needs. But that's a discussion I'm sure we're going to have down the road.
Yeah. Well, it's a good conversation too. And I wonder, to your point, so the priority of these, you know, from as a council, what is the most important and what is the least important, so that they're putting resources and time against the things that we think they should. Maybe we could do another workshop and just, you know, sort of as a council figure out, maybe not everything, but at least the top 5 or the top 10, so that we can help with the priority, because there's just too much on here to be able to kind of do them all with excellence, right? So I think it's probably a good idea to give our direction on priority there.
Well, I think the first 5 that you have here, like the budget, you know, we know that's going to happen. We know we're going to approve it. The water treatment plant, we know that's in progress. They've got the money. The management is now in place at the golf course. We know that's going to, you know, we know that's happening. The fire station's been approved. Now it's just going out and building it. The town hall roof money's been repaired, but you're right, you got to keep track. You got to keep track of some of these to make sure that the fire station, you know, where are we with the RFP? And we know that'll happen. The town roof, you know, we appropriated enough money to go ahead and do it. And if money does come in through a grant, then we just keep it.
Right.
That doesn't need to stall because we're waiting for the grant money. That's my understanding.
So then we should be out getting quotes and those sorts of things now, then.
Right.
Yeah. So actually, that's good. Yeah, and then some of these other projects, the roadways we talked about, yeah, wastewater treatment, I think it'd be good to just get an update on that. The downtown maintenance.
Yeah.
Dwell 85 or, okay. So
I
do you,
think that looks good. I think that looks good.
so do you think it's worth, maybe in the committee updates, I can say that we have a draft. I can connect with Matt and say we'd like to get together for a workshop to share the list we have and have some discussion around how we might prioritize it.
Yeah. I'd like to try to, if we do that workshop, I mean, with summer coming, I'd like to try to do it before the end of June. You know, once we get into July and August, people.
I think, yeah.
People's minds are all swaying.
That sounds good to me. I mean, I can reach out to Matt. Maybe we try to do it at the end of this month. So try to fit it in a little later May. I think we're there. I mean, I think we could put this in front of the group with maybe a few more things filled in and get a reaction.
Or even put it, maybe even have it as an agenda item for, what would be, May 24th, where you can, you know, explain the draft. You know, if this time, I don't know, I mean, it certainly is worthy of a council presentation from you, from the committee, from you, and explain this is what we've done. We're looking for feedback. You know, maybe we take it from there to go to a workshop. But I think for them to see the work that you've done and some, what are the priorities? And we got a lot of things on the table. A lot of them are in progress. We know that. Some have stalled, some we don't know.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. So I can talk to, or I can request this as an agenda item then for the next town council, not next, the one after. And then between now and then, I can just continue to fill in the information with what I can find. And we'll take the latest, most updated version to that town council meeting.
Right.
Good.
But I probably will reach out to Debbie and ask her to put under managers update what the status is of those charter changes on the election, just to see if we can get one.
Yeah. Okay.
It might be too late. It might be too late for the 10th, but I'll try.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. And then I'll ping Michael again just to see where they're at with the schedule. And ideally, if we can get the calendar and this in front of everyone in the next meeting, that would be good.
Yeah, I might be too late for Tuesday because she's got to send the agenda out tomorrow. So,
oh yeah.
But anyway, I'll maybe reach out to him in a separate email or something. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So I think that was it for today. Is there anything else you wanted to talk through on this?
No. I think that was the goal, is to set up a tracker to find out, what do we have going on out there, and what's the status of it. And I think that'll be good.
Great.
I think that'll be good.
All right. I'm excited about it too. So I guess with that, we could adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. Nobody's waiting to talk to us. No.
I think so.
All right. We'll see you Tuesday.
All right.
Good. Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, Dennis. Bye-bye.